And Democrats are struggling for a way forward. President Trump is moving fast. He is breaking things. That is for sure. And he's going to need to, because he's been left with a really fragmentary world thanks to Joe Biden's policies. Democrats are searching for a way forward on a wide variety of issues. Number one on the list, of course, is immigration. Democrats have not yet decided whether to go along with President Trump's tough on immigration proposals or whether to resist them. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, he said yesterday that the military will be activated to protect the sovereign territory of the United States.
If you see what the president said last week in his executive orders, he's hitting the ground running. He's made it very clear. There's an emergency at the southern border, that the protection of the sovereign territory of the United States is the job of the Defense Department, and the cartels are foreign terrorist organizations. As a result, this Pentagon Snap 2 last week, we helped move forward troops, put in more barriers, and also to ensure mass deportations, support of mass deportations in support of the president's objective.
Tom Homan, the border czar, is saying similar things. He says President Trump is going to be happy with the level of deportations that we are now pushing.
First up, is the president happy with this progress?
No, I think the president's happy, but we're going to make him a lot happier. Yesterday was just day one, and these raids are going to go out throughout the country. We're not going to let up. We put our foot on the gas, and we're going to go. And as I explained to several stations yesterday, that aperture can continue to grow. Right now, we're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. But as we open up that aperture, looking for fugitives, those who had due process at great taxpayer expense, there's over 1 million of them, 1.4 million. They're on the table. Anybody in the country illegally, they're on the table. But we're going to go after them in a prioritization that makes sense. The worst first.
Okay, he is right about all of that. Democrats are freaking out, being led by Selena Gomez. So first of all, points to Selena Gomez for actually being able to emote on camera. I wasn't aware she could do this. I mean, I had tried to watch Only Murders in the Building, and she's the worst thing on screen by far. And then, of course, she is in the worst movie I have ever seen, Emilia Perez, which is a horror show of a film. She can't act in that either. But she was crying openly on camera about the thought of deportations pursued by the Trump administration.
I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything I've...
Shut down on actresses crying on camera until we can figure out what the hell is going on. Executive order from President Trump to do all of that. Again, that was about my emotional response after having seen Emilia Perez. Again, the worst film possibly ever made. We'll get to more on this in just one moment. Even if you think it's a bit overhyped, AI is suddenly everywhere, from self-driving cars to molecular medicine to business efficiency. If it's not in your industry yet, it is coming and fast. But AI needs a lot of speed and computing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a blazing fast, secure platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, plus all your AI and machine learning workloads. OCI costs 50% less for compute and 80% less for networking, so you are saving a bundle of money. Thousands of businesses have already upgraded to OCI, including Vodafone, Thomson Reuters, and Suno AI. Right now, Oracle is offering to cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to OCI for new U.S. customers with minimum financial commitment. Offer ends March 31st. See if your company qualifies for this special offer at oracle.com/Shapiro. That's oracle.com/Shapiro. Again, oracle.com/Shapiro. They can help you cut your current cloud bill in half if you move on over to OCI for new U.S. customers with minimum financial commitment. That offer ends March 31st. Meanwhile, Claudia Sheinbaum, the socialist president of Mexico, who took over for Emmanuel Lopez Obrador. So she was out there suggesting that the United States is super bad for deporting Mexican criminal illegal immigrants. She says, quote, "The Mexicans there sustain the economy of the United States in the countryside, in services everywhere." Well, I mean, if they're such great citizens who add to the economy, why don't you want them in your country? That seems kind of weird. I mean, the real reason why Mexico has always been a big backer of illegal immigration, twofold. One, the drug cartels make an awful lot of money, and the drug cartels basically run the Mexican government. And two, a huge number of Mexicans who cross the border then send remittances back to Mexico and send money back home. That is the actual reason. Meanwhile, Honduras is trying to lead a revolt of left-wing states from Latin and South America against the U.S. move to deport illegal immigrants. According to Breitbart, far-left President of Honduras, Xiomara Castro, on Sunday, called for an emergency meeting of the community of Latin American and Caribbean states later this week to discuss President Trump's crackdown on illegal migrants in the United States. CELAC is a 33-country bloc founded in Caracas in 2011, largely promoted by Venezuela's late socialist dictator Hugo Chavez, as a U.S.-free alternative regional structure to the Organization of American States, of which the United States is, in fact, a member. So President Castro announced that Gustavo Petro, who is the idiot, socialist, unpopular president of Colombia, will travel to the Honduran capital city to participate in the meeting. The event will address migration, the environment, and Latin American and Caribbean unity as its three main subjects. Well, let's see what they have to say, because the reality is that, again, the United States represents a huge portion of the export market for all of these particular countries. They're going to have to take back their illegal immigrants. It's just that simple. Brazil, by the way, is still trying its own routine. Lula da Silva, who is a dictatorial, authoritarian left-winger, has told his foreign ministry to, quote, seek answers from Washington over what it called the degrading treatment of Brazilian migrants during a U.S. deportation flight on Friday. The official request for an explanation, according to the Washington Post, was issued after Brazilian officials interviewed many of the 88 migrants aboard the flight, among the first deported by the Trump administration. Many of the migrants described a harrowing experience during their transport to Brazil. The passengers said the plane, operated by ICE, was in faulty condition. There was no air conditioning, and a mechanical issue became apparent soon after takeoff, requiring multiple maintenance stops in Panama and then in Manaus, the capital of the Brazilian state of Amazonas. So they didn't like the plane enough. For hours in Panama and Manaus, the passengers said they were left to languish in the heat in handcuffs. People, including 6 children, began to feel faint, according to the migrants. When they tried to resist, they were violently repelled and threatened. Well, I mean, forcing your way off the plane that is deporting you will probably end with bad consequences for you, it seems. Meanwhile, again, left-wingers in the United States are still trying to figure out exactly how to deal with all of this. On the one hand, you have people who say that they will move along with the deportation of criminal illegal immigrants. On the other, you'll have people like Chicago Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez, who says that Trump's mass deportation is unconscionable.
The fear that we see by students, by children, by families, by our neighbors, it is uncalled for. The unconscionable decision of targeting not only schools, churches. We saw the targeted of one of our churches in our community by some MAGA fanatics coming harassing our pastor, one of the local pastors. We're seeing also trying to target hospitals. It's unconscionable, the fear that is creating. This is not making anyone safe. It's actually decline, hurting our businesses, hurting our city. And it's unconscionable that we see this from the White House, a president that should be called on actually addressing inflation, addressing so many of the issues on the ground. It is unconscionable that they are scapegoating and targeting immigrant communities and creating serious harm in our city.
Okay, I mean, if this is the angle that Democrats take, good luck to them politically speaking. Are you tired of the lies and the twist of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.